CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us now. Ed, President Biden laid out his three-step plan to lower oil prices. Break it down for us. In short, what are those steps?
Well, look, he had announced earlier this year that he would release up to 180 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and sort of gave himself a cutoff at 165. What he's doing today is essentially saying, remember what I told you earlier this year? I'm going all the way. So this isn't necessarily a new announcement, but the timing is notable, and you saw him get asked about this, given that there are just 20 days to go until the midterm elections, and Democrats are taking heat from voters for not doing enough to deal with inflation and rising gas prices and the price of most other goods and services. So he said that, and then in addition made clear if and when the cost of gas, of barrels of oil drops to about 67 to 72 bucks a barrel, the United States is willing to go in and replenish the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. In essence, saying to oil companies, if you're concerned about pumping more oil, that there'll be market demand for it, there will be, because we'll buy it if you get to about that price. This is an ongoing dispute between the administration and the oil industry, where he calls out their record profits in the midst of these high prices and the struggles around the world for energy resources. And the energy companies turn around and say, well, gosh, things would be easier for us to do business if this administration would get off our backs, allow us to drill more, fix permitting problems with not only the oil industry, but all renewable energy sources, and also, double down on the use of fossil fuels instead of worrying about alternative energy sources. They're going another round here, in essence, by doing this. And he's essentially sticking out a stick and saying, and a carrot, and saying, you want to start producing, we'll be your first big customer.
And how much could these steps actually help achieve the goal of bringing down prices at the pump?
That's the thing. We don't know, and it's not like it's going to be a dramatic reversal of gas prices immediately. These kinds of things usually take about a month to happen anyway. So the release of the barrels of oil won't happen until December, after the elections at this point. And whether or not gas prices go down because of this remains to be seen. By then, OPEC may have made other decisions. There could be some other geopolitical crisis. Or the demand for oil could suddenly either increase or decrease, depending on something we're not thinking of right now. But he understands, and he's tried throughout this year to demonstrate that he's tackling inflation. He's called it his top domestic priority, and something he understands is causing great pain and concern for Americans. In the next breath, this White House and congressional Democrats also point out inflation is not unique to the United States. It's happening all over the world. There's been 10% inflation in the United Kingdom, for example. And they'd argue that the American system is controlling those price increases better than Europe and other parts of the world.
And I want to stick with this for another moment because we heard all those reporters asking some follow-up questions about political motivations. We also heard the president even saying in his remarks, blaming Russia for the gas prices going up and talking about OPEC and oil companies as other actors that actually have responsibility. We're 20 days away from the midterms. How much did today's announcement play into that? We heard what the president had to say, but what's the reality?
Well, as we just said, I mean, even if he says it doesn't, it does. And you can point to comments made even by some of his most senior aides just yesterday, responding to criticism that this White House was needlessly focused, by critics, needlessly focused on abortion rights, which is not a top issue of concern, according to most recent surveys, but the economy is. I said, well, don't worry. He's talking about abortion yesterday. He'll talk about the economy and bringing down prices tomorrow, which in essence is an acknowledgement that, yes, it is an issue. It's a political issue right now for voters as they're voting early or getting ready to vote. And they're trying to demonstrate presidential action this week to help short things up for congressional Democrats across the country. He talked about abortion rights yesterday. Also talked about the fact that the student loan program is now underway and people can apply. Those are two things he did for the base, in essence. Trying to shore up abortion rights, making life easier economically for younger voters who may be saddled with student debt, and older family members as well, frankly, who take that on for their children. Then today, talking about lowering prices. Tomorrow, he's going to Pennsylvania to talk about the infrastructure bill and how over time that's going to help drive economic growth across the country. All of it, again, designed to demonstrate presidential action at a time when our battleground tracker found, released earlier this week, 68% of Americans think he isn't doing enough to help lower prices.
Ed, they're always working on the lawn there at the White House every time we talk to you. I just wanted to ask you one more thing.
Daytime is lawn time.
Later today, the president is expected to announce new grants for companies making batteries from electric vehicles. What can you tell us about that?
$2.8 billion in federal grants going out from the Energy Department to different companies to start mining different minerals here in this country to help start making the batteries needed for things like electric vehicles. All of this is part of the ongoing push by this administration in a bipartisan fashion to bring back a lot of the manufacturing needed for today's technologies. You've seen all the announcements about microchip plants that are being built now in upstate New York, Ohio, Idaho, with federal money. This now another step designed to do that too. The reason they want to bring all that technology back from Asia, we rely too much on China, they would argue. Taiwan, of course, is where most of the semiconductors are made, the chips, and they need to be made somewhere a little more geopolitically stable. And they want to juice the American manufacturing economy. This is another step to do that. This is the kind of thing that makes the big business community quite excited, and that many believe helps juice the American manufacturing sector and eventually will make it easier for these things to get produced over time as we begin to rely more on renewables or electric vehicles.
Ed O'Keefe, you've got a busy 20 days ahead, no doubt. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.